I'm jumping on a coaching call right now, and might be able to look this evening, but have a few errands to run. Period. Hope to get it into production tomorrow. Jarod, this is Johnny, I ended up with internet and am on the Google meeting.
Oh, it's pretty sunny background there. Hey, what's up?
Hey man, how's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Well, battling what feels like a hardware internet issue, which is worse than when your internet goes down.
Who's your provider?
Spectrum. So I think it's
Mm,
my Google Wi-Fi router, though.
mm. All right. Well, yeah. Sorry. I was just knee deep in the thick of everything going on, and then I saw your email. I was like, oh shoot, let me respond to him.
Being in the flow is a good thing. I
Yeah.
don't fault you for that.
Man, how are
So
you? Like,
it's been a couple weeks, man. How's it going?
it's good. Major breakthroughs.
Oh yeah,
Oh
that's what
yeah,
I
yeah.
like to
No,
hear.
we I successfully got the Stripe Connect workflow set up. Huge win. It actually just happened like yesterday. Successfully tested it. I must have set up like 35 test, accounts so far in Stripe Connect. But yeah, so successful. So right now, maybe I'll have it you test it out in a little bit during this call. Not in the moment, just actually because I'm actually now I'll get to that point. I'm reconfiguring something on that end. So yeah, successfully set it up. You click that Stripe onboarding, takes you right to our Stripe Connect account where you create a new test account, go through the cycle. With Zapier, it just collects all that data and backs it up and pushes it right to our collection. So that was yesterday. And then I discovered that I was going to have to make small tweaks to every webhook when I onboarded a new client, which we could do in a moment. And then I was working rapidly to see what I could finalize today for the reporting. Just because now I'm like, all right, I got that done. Now this should be kind of somewhat easy peasy, and it is. But then our trusty friend here was like, oh, now you don't need to use Zapier. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, we went through this whole thing. They were like, well, now because your Fire console is going and your cloud, we can just do everything, and it should work with the Dallo. So up until this call, everything was successfully firing without Zapier. However, the data just was not corresponding between what was collected in the Google console and like bringing it back to a DAO. So I just made some tweaks with one of the index files just before I got on this call. So I'm eager to test it out to see if that data populates. And
So
then
no, go ahead, finish your thought.
that's it.
How did you get Stripe working? Are you using the Adalo components as designed, or did you have to do a whole other thing?
Well, again, this Stripe Connect onboarding is nothing to do with Adalo. This is all filled out by me. Yeah, so this, if you go onto the admin dashboard, the main thing, there's like this purple button that says Stripe sign up. That is us. And then, I did everything with coding to set this up. However, in the slew of everything, I also did realize that the fucking the Adalo component for the Stripe marketplace did in fact work. So we got lucky. I think it was just maybe the Stripe ID was improper. And that's what I discovered. So now I tested it slightly, but it is functioning properly with the payment component acting the way I originally wanted it to act anyway. So now I don't have to do anything like that. So basically, right now I'm finalizing on deploying this just now. So if all goes well, we'll see. Then I have this whole backend complete, and it's kind of like a rinse and repeat for any client that I onboard. And if I can eliminate Zapier, that's even better because I'm saving more money because that's a lot of tasks and zaps ahead of us. And then I don't have to make any changes moving forward, like aside from the apps themselves,
That
which would
sounds
be
very promising.
huge.
Right.
And then finally I did hear back from Adalo support because I had posted something in the forum and somebody got back to me, like somebody else that's like in the world, and then I guess Adalo one of their client success team members like, hey, you know, blah blah blah. They chimed in finally because other people were picking up steam and reading it. And I was like trying to explain to her, this lady, I was like, hey, I've tried to, you know, put my this in as a help desk ticket, and it just doesn't accept it, and she just couldn't understand. But now at least I have this connection with this girl that I was in contact with. So if I have a problem, like, hey, I need you to help me, and I think she'll be a good point of contact.
That's good.
For sure.
Stripe working, reducing the need for Zapier. You have an Adalo customer support or success manager, contact coordinator, whatever.
Big wins, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. That I will take them all with those are big wins, and something else is going to kick in the gut. Kind of thing, right? Like the last mile of the marathon is always surprising. But do you have what I would call like a punch list, like when you're finishing up a project, in terms of what's the roadmap from here to beta customer, to your friend being able to use this? And I mean, so to me, he would use it for a little while and then be like, okay, here's the things that I need in order to replace what I'm using right now, right? Like that would be the goal with your beta first user or first 3 users or however many you're going to have.
I don't know, man. I mean, my guy's like ready to just like rock and roll, but he's like, I'll need some training. You know, these guys, you know, as any small business owner, they don't have the bandwidth to be like, hey, all right, I'm going to keep my main app around and I'm going to like play with your app. It's just not going to happen. Like I've tried to have beta guys have gone in and played with it, and you know, that's to the extent of it. But like somebody that has over 100+ like, you know, members, these gym owners, they're just not going to have the time to sit here and like, hey, yeah, I'm going to test your app for you. You know, even it's just not going to. That's the realization in this world that I've come to.
No, so that's a very good realization. So the foundation,
it's got to be it's got to be ready to go.
It's got to be ready, right? So
to answer your question, like I said when we spoke last time, which was 3 weeks ago almost, you know, I was in a different spot. And I was like, hey, I don't know what's going to happen, you know? And then it's literally took me from that time I spoke to you till yesterday to get this completed. A lot of sweat equity, right?
Hey, man.
But yeah, so we're here. And now it's going to be, it should be, we'll see what, I'm not saying anything because, you know, who knows what could happen from here. A misstep could happen. I don't know.
So you've got your remaining work to be done. The other 2 pieces to me, if I'm looking at this from what you just said and from the customer perspective, we need to finalize our feature list, right? The reports, etc. We need to test this in a scenario that's as similar as possible to the client. So we have to make an environment with 100 users? And are we going to do that manually, or are we going to consult our friend to inject 100 users? Right. So there's a whole nother world of development, right? That is test scripts, or in this, like one of the things I played with, I don't know the databases, but I had Gemini create 10 test records for a project I'm working on. So I was just like, all right, create this many streams, this many reports, this many whatever.
Yeah.
Don't use the user interface, just create the records because I need them in there. Now that can be problematic because you're not testing the user interface and because it may put crappy data in there. So the other thing is like, okay, what is my goal in terms of being confident that when my friend picks this up, it's going to work and it's not going to shit the bed on him, and he's not going to be like, dude, I just went 2 weeks and I don't have any of the last 2 weeks information because I have to go back to my old system.
Sure.
And right. So I think you need, in a professional software world, we'd say we need a test plan, which would be in the old days a document. In the new days, it might be a set of tests that are files that, again, you could research it, but there's a VI test suite that will run against your app and stuff like that. But whatever it is, it's like there's two kinds of testing. There's unit testing and there's end-to-end testing, right? And there's lots of more in between there, but those are the two basic ones.
For sure.
So I think you need to have that somewhat comprehensive or documented and think about how much time is that going to take me, right? Is a week? Can I get, what's all the stuff I need to do? Let me write it down and have a conversation with AI or whatever and write a test plan and then be like, all right, I'm going to hand enter 25 users and I'm going to have 10 of them sign up for classes and I'm going to have 10 of them buy products and I'm going to try to break the system. Right.
Yeah.
And
So
that has to be a part of it.
Yeah. So one of the main things is, once I get past this next hurdle, the 2 hurdles, like finiting this, which we'll see, hopefully it's already done. And then the reporting, there's some like minimal things I know I need to tweak aesthetically, and then just make sure like when people like purchase a Pilates class or like, they have like 10 packages now and it reduces, I have to like fix those things along the way. And then there's like, the available and the maximum allotment of like classes and like what's available. So I have to make sure I have that down packed. So when people are selecting classes, they know like, hey, there's 11 spots, total, there's 9, so there's 2 left. So I have to like put that equation in. So they're like small little tweaks I need to do. And yeah, depending upon where I go from here, timeline, it could be by the end of this month that I wrap it up. It could be sooner. I don't know. It all depends on like how long is it going to take me to like finalize, and like it's working on what I just said to you. Now I just got to have the data come to, Adalo without Zapier, or go back to Zapier, and then just the reporting, which is like literally going to be, just a web portal that's just funneling all the data from the Stripe Connect report. And then on the flip side, I actually just contacted Stripe today because I'm like, all right, well, I don't know why I thought this, but when I do get client A that fills out the Stripe Connect through mine, now they're on ours. Now they already have a Stripe Connect potentially with another, app, right? You have to be able to somehow transfer that data, and you can, but you have to submit information to like Stripe support, like for data migration. So I just did that today. So I'm just waiting to hear back from Sunday.
And you brought up my other key phrase, data migration, right? So there's the Stripe customer data migration and all the previous payments that they're going to want that continuity on. So great that you're thinking about that.
The current members and like everything else on the app side
and all that stuff, right? That always takes longer than you think. Like that was one of my first jobs. Like was data migration for a company. Was like, all right, they're pulling this in from spreadsheets or from their other app or from whatever, and getting a hold of at least a sample of his data. Because I'm thinking of like the classes. Like, what's the roster of classes? Like, where is he today in classes management? And how are you gonna stand up from there? So if you're like, hey, can you give me a snapshot of your data, like so that I can start getting this ready for you? That would also help you with your test data, right? You wouldn't need to create all these records. You'd have a bunch of test records, right? So
I have access to his back end of his push press, so I can download all that stuff and upload it to the.
Great.
Yeah. So the goal is to, not to speak over you, get it to like where it's all right. Hey, I'm not doing anything extraordinary aesthetically. I have that in the back of my head, what you said to me when we first spoke. So like, I'm not trying to like, hey, make this look better. It just got to be functional, right? That's the goal. Functional, it works. You do this, that works. You don't do this, there's a reason why. You could work around, boom, and this works. So once I get everything to that point, then my goal is to white label this app, make it to this one's gyms, which is Rob's gym, in this case, Athletic Strength Club, and start, kind of like importing, exporting data from his current app to our app, and then start doing the whole process to get him rocking and rolling, and then see what that looks like. And maybe I have to do it a couple times to get comfortable with it. And then he made a comment too, which is I'm like, yeah, if I had the time to do it, I would do it. But I'm going to have to find the time. Once this is done, that will consume my time is recording, tutorials on how to use that.
Yep. Yep. No, I think that's great. It's a light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing.
Kind of. I think.
I'm like, I know that when you had your vision, you had like an entrepreneur hat on, right? You're like, I'm going to create this thing, and this is about serving a customer that I understand.
Yeah.
And then you went the no code route, and you probably started feeling like, am I becoming a technician? And then you and I talked, and you were like, am I becoming a developer? And where I see you now is you're becoming a product manager, right? And this is the whole life cycle of product development and deployment. That is the whole part of business, right? When you're a one-man show, the good news is you'll understand how everything works. The bad news is you have to understand how everything works. But the good news, why this is good news that you have to learn this, is because in an ideal situation, when things go well and we end up with 5 or 6 clients and there's some money coming in, you're like, wow, this piece is a pain in the butt and I don't want to do it. And I'm going to pay somebody to do it or pay somebody to automate it so that I don't have to do it anymore. Right.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it at all.
Right. So but now you're going to, the pain that you've gone through and the pain that you're going to go through is going to give you a really good understanding of who you need to hire or what tools you need to acquire so that like they can't bullshit you. Like you can ask the questions, and you as a software product owner and a software company owner, it's interesting for me from a journey because I used to do this for AOL and then I did this for my own company.
Yeah.
And the modality is very different, like how you've gone through this process. But in the end, you need to do all the same things, right? You need to design the product, develop the product, test the product, deploy the product, test the data integration. You're probably going to end up with an import tool of some port, right? If most of your customers come from 2 or 3 other different companies, you're going to be like, oh, well, I have this script that translates the data from the way it holds it to the way that I need to hold it so that I'm not doing all this manually. But it's going to be hard the first time. And things might not hook up the way that you want them to the first time. So you may find that you need to go through a few instances of that data import wipe. Oh, wait, I need to change the data. I need to import it in this way. So be prepared for that. And big picture towards what I said the last time we met, which was one of my documentation rants, is that you're going to get to the point where you're like, I need to document how this kind of data gets imported because documentation is the first step to automation. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I've been like, since that, I think it was back on July 8th, I started creating a summary for every day, which has been helpful to an extent because like this, AI will like do something. I'm like, no. I go back like the old days, like you had me do this and this, and like, oh, thanks for the the refresher before you jack up all our shit.
Yeah. And in my working and learning, I've realized right next to your code files, you can have it create 5 MD markdown files that, like, I have one called the plan.md for every project I'm in, and one called backlog or issues.md. And then I'm like, hey, add that to issues. Like, oh shit, that's broken. Add that to the issues file. Add that to the issues file. And then I'm like, okay, we just finished X. What do you think we should work on next? Let's refer to the plan and the backlog. Right. And then it'll come up with a thing. And I'm like, instead of just letting it go code crazy, I'll say, okay, develop a feature spec that is going to solve the next phase of the plan or solve the next set of backlog issues. Okay, now develop what's the development plan? What's the right order to do this in? And make sure that we stop and test along the way. And by telling it to do that and putting that, so I have 3. I have a workflow MD, which agents use workflow files. I have a plan MD, and I have an issues MD. And and your workflow can be like, anytime we find an issue, make sure you write it in the issues file. Anytime that we get, within the plan, there should always be a testing cycle, whether it's you were telling me how to test a feature.
Are you using deep research when you're doing this?
No, I am not. So I'm in either now I've switched to code, so VSC, with the Copilot agent turned on, and you can use Gemini with the Copilot agent, or you can
I
use
gotcha.
now like 4.1 is free now. Like they've made the GPT agent really pretty good and free. So I use that, or I've gone to Google command line interface. Gemini CLI command line interface. So that's using Gemini in a Unix environment. It's a really good coder, and it's a different sensation than in code because it's conversational and it shows you the code bits, but you're not looking at all the files all the time like you do when you're in VSC. I know I know you have 1 foot in the Dallo and 1 foot in code, so that's a little different. That's why you need to use I find that deep research is just too damn wordy and writes these papers. When I do it on Gemini, the other ones may be a little better for that, but I haven't taken the time to go back and try to get deep research to write in a better format for me. But I do find that Copilot in VSC and Gemini command line or Gemini Canvas, which is the coding one, right?
Yeah.
Then they will update the files. And this workflow method is pretty good where you're like, hey, follow the workflow. Hey, don't forget the workflow. Hey, don't forget the plan, right? Hey, go back and read that summary. Because they will get stuck in a loop. I had one last night. He kept on adding a freaking div close. He thought he was going to fix this thing. And he did it like 4 times. I'm like, you're fired. Like, you need to totally reset. Go back and read go back and read the plan. Go and we're restarting here. You need a new approach.
Yeah, they do like to repeat themselves.
So
now I guess not getting off the topic of conversation here. Have you been in touch with the interim lady from Venture Hub yet?
Yeah, I actually have.
Cool.
I am continuing on. We're keeping on. I'm probably going to be doing some more strategic work for them as well, which I'm to try to make sure that, I think I know Bailey. I know her from her previous work.
Cool.
Yeah, so she's a good operator and will definitely be good, I think, at coordinating events and keeping the lights on and directing folks. And she was like, I need you to, help me know what the businesses need. So I'm hoping to do some of that work, more of that work, and keep on here. Yeah.
Are they going to have any events that you're aware? Yeah, like I said, I haven't heard of Pete.
I'm not aware of anything yet. I think she's still getting under her. Like I talked to her Thursday, and she's going to get back to me. Is today Wednesday? She's going to hopefully she'll get back to me tomorrow or Friday.
Yes, it is Wednesday. I had to go.
My Mondays and Tuesdays are my startup. It's supposed to only be like 5 hours or 9 to 2. Was that 7 hours? But I end up like yesterday. I was at an event, so I worked on my startup until 9 at night.
Cool. What do you got going?
That's the trimmer. That's the cannabis workforce and equipment leasing. I don't know if I've told you about that.
Oh, that's your thing.
That's my company. Yeah. Well, I'm the number 2 in it. Or maybe now I'm the number 3 in it because I took a step back I was the second guy in. I basically launched it with my partner, and then we brought another guy in who was the marketing CMO guy. And we only have one other full-timer, and then we have like 50 workforce that we place with farms and processors and brands to do a few different things. And we have 2 mobile trailers that have processing equipment in them that we lease out and staff.
Interesting.
Very bumpy. Yeah.
So then what's your main thing? I know this is I know the consulting is not the main thing, but like
I am in between my main things. The trimmer was my main thing. I was heads down for 2 years. We paid ourselves a half salary for 9 months, I think, maybe 6 or 9 months. But we didn't grow fast enough, and we burned through the money that we had both put into it and fundraised. So we're pulling in monthly revenue, but not enough to pay ourselves. And so for the past year almost, I've been doing half of that still just on deferred comp, so not getting paid. And I've been coaching, and I was looking for other work, and I didn't find anything for my main thing. So I'm
Gotcha.
doing different coaching and consulting.
No, okay. Yeah, I wasn't even aware.
And still open to a main thing if something comes along, but I haven't. September, I will probably actively pursue a new main thing.
Gotcha.
But my kids are home right now for the summer, and it's the last summer I'm going to have all three of them home. So I'm working, but I'm like that. I like the flexibility. Like if I jumped into a 40-hour work a week job right now, I'd be busy 60 hours a week or 70
Yeah.
hours a week, and that's not what I want right now. So
I didn't tell you this because you'd be like, "What is your problem?" But it just kind of happened. I had started another company on top of this, but it hasn't like really like taking me away. This is like literally what I spend. I have percentages. I have like the marketing company, which I spend X amount of time per week. Then I have Activtopia, which is still by Socialtopia, which I think I'll just continue to stay like that. Uh, it's the main thing. So then I have this other thing that I've started, which we just got the LLC, and we're just still waiting for snail mail to come in before we actually can like activate things that we need to get going because we need the EIN. So the company's called Power Clean America, Johnny.
okay.
So essentially, I'm building a business model where we're providing pressure washing services nationally, and we are not doing the work, but we are subbing the work. So we have subcontractors. So we are actually viewed as a general contractor who's subbing the work out. So, to the consumer, they're hiring my company, Power Clean America, whether they're in Little Rock, Arkansas. I say that town because I have a contractor out there that's going to work with us, or, one of the parts of New Jersey. We'll have a website, we'll have the marketing and everything, and we'll have all the back ends and systems set in place by yours truly. And yeah, there was just a lot of people in the industry that want this to happen
What industries are primarily interested in it, or do you see as the customers?
well, strictly power washing, pressure washing. Yeah, so we're
Pressure
providing
washing
like
or pressure
yeah,
washing like
yep, yeah, residential pressure power washing services. So doing power washing, pressure washing, gutter cleaning, Christmas lighting, you know, cleaning and your surfaces like on your driveway, your hardscaping. I say a lot of people want this as far as well. It's a booming industry. I have clients that will make $1 million in this business. It's crazy. Gross, I should say. So I brought it up to a few people, and they're like, "Yeah, this should be out there. Why isn't this around?" But it's very complex, and yeah. But we've gotten here. The insurance was a bitch to get, and
that's what I was going. So it's funny. I was power washing my mother's house earlier today, and I've hired people to power wash. And at Trimmer, we bought a hot water power washer because to clean the equipment that we have, you need hot water power washing, which is a noisy thing. My sister just bought a small electric power washer, which is what I was using today and what I used on my house earlier this year. And wow, how much better the small electric power washer is. And it's like at least 80% as good. But that's funny, right? But insurance was what I was going to ask. And it sounds like, so you're focused on what I would call ladder work, right? In terms of the insurance, like if you're going to be putting up lights and doing gutters, these are guys up on ladders, and that's part of the insurance thing. And are they?
Yeah, I mean, mainly it's pressure washing. Christmas and holiday lighting won't be until like the holiday season.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just there's like stupid money in it. It's like, and at the end of the day, we're providing a value. That's what it comes to. We're providing a value to the pressure washing industry. That's what it comes down to, because there's nothing that exists like this. And like these guys have like rigs. They have like Ford F-150s, 4 F-350s, and they have like big trailers with like tanks that have 4 gallon a minute or 5 gallon a minute, water that they either have like in these tanks or they hook up to your spigots. I wanted to create some type of home service business, but I'm not a handy guy and I don't want to do the work. I don't want to like oversee anybody. So that's why I was like, hey, like I said, I brought it to people in the industry. Like, yes, can you make this happen? So I brought somebody that's in.
So what's the relationship with the power washer guys? Are
They're
they
doing the work. They're going to be my subcontractor.
so they're going to be a subcontractor 1099?
Yep.
And they are required to have insurance?
Yep. 1,000%. And they have to list us as on their workers' comp.
Additionally insured and on their workers' comp. And so are you a marketing funnel primarily?
We're doing yeah. So primarily, we're doing everything full circle for client acquisition, including taking payments, estimates, booking, because we don't even need to be in person. I can do everything online.
Come through you and then go to them.
Payments are going to come through me, and we're going to pay them a commission. That's why the insurance was a bitch. Not to stay too long on this conversation, but I was like, hey, by the way, I got this thing going on. I've been like wanting to tell you, but I was like, hey, I don't know if he's going to be like, what are you, crazy? But
Well,
that's how
crazy, but it's interesting because Trimmer is workforce staffing. So we don't go with a general or a general and subcontractor model. We're a highly regulated industry, as you can imagine, in cannabis.
Yeah.
Where that
you can't keep a good idea down, man.
Yeah. Well, so like I have a guy that I used to hire when I was flush that he's like gutters and satellite is like his things. He's a roof walker is what I say. And he's not insured. He's an old buddy of mine. But that's sort of my analogy or familiarity with what you're doing is, oh yeah, I used to hire a guy to power wash my house and do my gutters and whatnot. I would never pay anybody to put lights up at my house, but I understand why people would.
Yeah, some markets is like $6 a square foot. Some markets is $10 a square foot. It's crazy.
That's interesting.
It's wild.
Well, right, and yeah, so
basically, I'm creating the infrastructure. I'm doing everything on the back end now with my profound knowledge that I've learned through this. No. I have like another system and tools that I have like to automate things. Not to get like on a. So that's what else I got going on, man.
I mean, listen, big picture. I was actually going to take a step back anyway because part of founder coaching is not just a business; it's the whole life. And I'm not a psych coach, and I'm not a life coach. Yeah. But you were saying, I put X amount of time in this, and X amount of time in that, and X amount of time in the other thing, and that's life. Like whether there are other paid engagements or unpaid engagements, or family, or volunteers, or taking care of your parents, or whatever it is, like. Nobody has one thing. Anybody who has one thing is full of it, right? Or they actually have a problem because you need lots of different things. What comes to
these days, I feel like, yeah.
Well, what comes to my mind is I think is Activtopia and the marketing company. Is that one thing or two things? No, Socialtopia rather.
Socialtopia and Activtopia are kind of, they're just going to be conjoined. Like I said, I don't even think I'm going to try to get funding at this point. I'm just going to go and see what I can do and just hustle.
You have a separate marketing business besides Socialtopia, or that is the marketing?
Socialtopia is the marketing company. Socialtopia and Activtopia are together, and they are going to coincide together once Activtopia is launched. Right? Like I said, there's going to be like 3 different scales of when it comes to the financial aspect, and it's going to tie together. That's what. Yeah, with the web development, CRM, white labeling that, and everything.
Current customer base for Socialtopia. How many clients do you have? Not gyms, but
yeah, I mean, we only have like less than maybe like 13, 14.
Okay, so you have 13 or 14 clients. Are they all project based, or are any of them like regular recurring?
Yeah, I mean, I've got guys that have been with me for 3 years, 2.5 years. Guys that are locked in until like October, November. Yeah, it's all monthly recurring cash.
Monthly recurring cash, right? So you've got those folks, and how many hours a week of your time does that mean?
I mean, hours. I can't calculate the amount of hours I work then, but I really couldn't. I would say 20 to 30% of the time I spend working throughout the week is now
Yeah.
it's at Socialtopia. I have a dedicated, there's dedicated time where I'm, speaking with my team, like Monday meetings, and then I'm doing some work that day. I'm doing work some days every day for social. The bulk of the work is on Fridays, and then end of the month for getting ads up and running. I'm involved like that still, and then taking client calls here and there, to hash out anything that's coming up or like
And
creative aspects.
what does the team consist of?
There's only 3 of us right now.
And the other 2 are full-time or part-time, or?
Yeah, part time.
And do they are the swim lanes really clear, like who's responsible for what, or do you guys all sort of cross over who does what?
Yeah, I mean, one person's only mainly like a media person, like she's our videographer, editor, like that's what she does. And then I have somebody that like really kind of just works on like content and like my podcast.
Okay.
So that's kind of like, and that's it. And then I'm just the one who's like executing the ads still, because like it doesn't take too much of my time.
Right. Got it. So that is some portion of your time, like you said, 20% or 30%.
I gotta be honest, like I said, I kind of like, I wouldn't say I walked away from it, but I kind of just turned my, I hate to say, I wouldn't say turn my back, but I was like, I haven't taken on any new clients. And I
Right.
kind of just, I wouldn't say I pushed away anybody, but I was just kind of like, hey, I'm working on this other thing right now. I can't.
And that's because you see more financial opportunity in Activtopia, or because the
Thousand,
problems
thousand,
that it's more
1000%.
interesting? You see more, right? And then between Activtopia and the power washing company, which one do you see a bigger revenue opportunity in?
Man, I mean, Power Clean America could be like $100 million+ company,
And
which is wild. I mean, Activtopia, I don't know. I mean, I can't say that. Like, it's hard for me to like. I'm not. And this isn't me just like being like some kid that closes his eyes and pretends like about these like nuances. This is me saying, all right, based on what I know and based on the market and based on what the conversations I've had, and this is nothing. This is preemptive talk, right? This is how this goes in like the world that we live in. I still think Activtopia can again a minute fraction of what I said, 5, 7.5, 10%, whatever that monthly revenue is. It could fluctuate, can be anywhere from 5, 15+ mil, but who knows it's going to take to get to that point.
right. So
I think with Power Clean America, not to get off, and again, I didn't mean to throw that in here in this conversation because it doesn't really go in hand with like, the Venture Hub and us. I don't know, it's all lead gen flow, but like I see the leads that flow for our other clients and home services for this specific industry, and it's just silly in a sense that
so
it's easy to like gain traction. I don't know what's going to happen. All I can say is like, hey, if I have 100 contractors doing X amount of jobs, this is like what we could potentially earn.
So right, and that's how you would model it, so to speak. And it is related to Activtopia because it's a trade-off with Activtopia, right? And in terms of Venture Hub, this is one of the things I really want to get to the bottom of with Bailey is it only about startups? And what do you define as a startup? Or is it about Hudson Valley-based businesses that are maybe not startup? Like, based on what you just said, Power Clean America is more of a startup in the venture capital or venture scaling than Activtopia, based on what you can see right in front of you. Just very simple. And I will say part of that might be that you've done more homework on Activtopia and you've done a lot of the hard stuff. And, when we're writing it down in a business plan or on a napkin, we can say, I could totally see having 500 gyms as clients. Like, I'm just making up a number. And then I could see bringing in this much money per client on a subscription. That's how much money a month, right? So that's one thing. Or I could see having 2,000 clients. So that's one thing. Now you're in really thick and you could maybe still see that, but you also see how hard it is to get to client 1. And you probably at this point see that when you're at client 20, things might start to break and you may need to do more work. And then when you're at client 100, et cetera, I'd be interested in to what extent Power Wash America, you've sort of done that same digging. You just gave me some high level figures that make sense. It's like, yep, if I have 100 or 500 subs, I think they can make this much a year, a month, a quarter. It's seasonal, right? It depends where they are. There's a lot of factors there. This is how I validate that number. And then who's paying whom, what percent of the, I don't know what these are, $500 gigs. Like, what's the average gig size going to be?
And like this isn't me. Like I have a partner in this, and then you know we have potential like another potential like investor that's willing to throw 20 down on it like today to get like to become an equity partner. So that's kind of like where we're at with that thing.
And so like big picture to say, it's not in the scope of work that you and I defined, but launching and scaling businesses is the mission of the Venture Hub, right? So
for sure.
If somebody is launching 2 of those, then the question is, can they both be in it? I don't know. Is the job of the advisor to get them to focus on one? I don't know, not necessarily, right? And so
yeah, I think the sake for this call, I'd rather like focus on Activtopia for right now, but I guess that's for you to decipher. But like, I wouldn't even be able to make the decision, like, you know, if the other one was going to be in this because I have a partner now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it goes well.
Yeah, man, me too.
It sounds like you could learn from one to the other, and there are things that are going to be very different about those 2 businesses. With Activtopia, you've been heads down on product. There's only you on team. When, you know, so how many different things can you think about at the same time, right? We're building product. We're thinking about client number 1. Are we thinking about client number 2? And what I mean by that is that still word of mouth and like, hey, there's other people that I already know are interested in this. Yes. And I should be talking to 5 people. Like, where do we start setting their expectations on timeline? When are we comfortable enough to be like, hey, yes, I can bring you on August 1, or yes, I can bring you on September 1. What does a ramp start to look like?
Great question. Yeah, I mean, as far as like, and I'm smiling because I like have so many people I want to pick up the phone and call, but I've had these conversations already, and like when I was like, hey, yeah, and then like I fucking hit a brick wall, right? So here I am. I mean, I have like well over 10 to 20 plus people I can pick up the phone and be like, hey, remember we spoke. A couple of people that I know personally or I've known for a while to like say, hey, we got this going on, ready to go. And it's just like mainly, like I said in the beginning of our call today, it's just like finalizing these main things and then like, all right, we are ready to go.
Cool. So
I mean, I'm like I said, like, I'm ready to rock and roll, Johnny, once these main things get done, deployed, ready to rock.
Well, it's good because I think it's too early to worry about additional marketing plans and like, oh, wait, what are we doing? Right. You have enough for your launch customer base that I think is going to keep you really busy figuring out how to serve these customers, right? Exactly what the software needs to do that we haven't fathomed yet, and troubleshooting and all that. Like if there's 10 or 20 folks we can onboard, great. I think onboarding experience, just like testing, just like selling, just like data migration, onboarding is going to be a whole thing that you're going to have to perfect, right? And the first one is going to be the messiest one, hopefully. And they're all going to be a little bit different, but you're going to learn. Yeah. And then we're going to be like, okay, crap, onboarding takes 2 weeks. Okay, onboarding only takes a week now. All right, now I can get you up and running in 2 or 3 days. I can migrate you to the new service. And so you have a customer base that's deep enough to learn about. with the app. But we've talked about these multiple tiers of services. What comes to my mind next, and I think I'm probably thinking 1 to 3 to 6 months out right now, is we get the product out there, we get user number 1 on it, and they're learning, and we start putting user number 2 on it, and hopefully we start accelerating the pace of bringing other people on. That's just the app. What about the CRM and the web services? When do we start adding those on? Do we wait till we're like, okay, we have 10 users, we know we have a good system, or do we like right away go to user 1 and start talking about CRM and other services? Like, how do you see that?
They know, yeah, he knows. Like that's the whole bread and butter. Yeah, I will outsource that indefinitely. I already think I have a point of contact that can, help me at a very, very reasonable fee, per hour. So I got that taken care of. But
and there's
as
no
far
integration points. Is that like it? Like there's no technical issues.
Well, yeah. So like technical, like there's no technical. No, I mean integration wise, like for the CRM to actually, I could do it where I kind of like to get to the to get to your admin dashboard, I could actually have like a tab on the CRM, click to get to your app dashboard, boom, and it could like just click the link.
Are you going to use a white label or a third party CRM? What are you using?
Exactly, the high level.
Okay.
That's what I've been using, like, and I started using it like last year.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like a rinse and repeat. Like
Yeah.
once I build one website, I clone the website, and I'm just making adjustments to photos, about us, stuff like that. So we'll just have somebody build out one website for a gym, and then it's just updating that, and then every gym is gonna have the same website.
Got it.
And they're paying a monthly fee for that. Yeah, high level is well renownedly known in the industry.
Okay.
For like automations and text
Right.
messaging.
And do you perceive that most of your customers are migrating CRM and web services, or are going from pen and paper or no solution?
Yeah, I'd say 90% of the market has, if not more, has a website, number one, has an app they're utilizing already. My biggest strong point, and then also I haven't said this yet, but I might move away from the whole sustainability thing after thinking about it more, but we don't have to go in the rabbit hole right now. I just don't know how much of a pain point that is going to be. I'm not saying it is or not, but I've kind of like thought more about it. I'm like, I don't know. If you're there's no way I can see gyms operating today without having some type of member management software. Like you have to be. I just can't. If it is, chances are they're not going to go to me if they're not using anything today. My biggest selling point, like I've said before, and I'm not giving you my elevator pitch, is like, it's inclusively an all-in-one app compared to like a push press where you have to download multiple apps. We bypass that. You don't need to download 2 apps anymore. You're using ours strictly. And now with like the online, training also available, that's kind of like the added push. So my elevator's pitch, I'm going to have it somewhere written down. I don't have it in front of me. And it's not something that's been on my selling tongue at this moment because I'm like product knowledge, product development, like geeking out over this stuff.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And
but I should be able to hey, if I'm on the fly talking to somebody, oh yeah, what's your app about? I would just like, hey, it's like literally.
Yeah, no, and I'm not worried about that in the moment, right? And I'm not, to your point, like I don't think we need to focus on key differentiator in the moment, right? I mean, my gut is what I think
it's going to be
ease of use for me and my customers, and price, right, is really what folks are looking at. And your ease of use argument is one app, ease of use, features, and price, right? And the features that you're talking about is the online video edition and ability to sell things all in one place. And presumably you're competitive on price.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be, like I said, like that founding members price. Like I'm bumped it up to $189 a month because I'm like, if I could made it anything lower, I'm gonna be like losing money at this point in the time. Basically based off of the pricing structure.
what I have seen a lot lately, and it just works, and I don't necessarily love it for my own business, I'll be honest, but what you see out there is you have to gain market share, right? And you're going to raise your prices. And if you are just doggedly consistent about raising prices, like I had folks tell me, yep, I'm starting at like some ridiculously low price and I'm raising it 3% a quarter. So 1% a month. Like raising the price every quarter, and maybe I'm going to grandfather people in for a year, but the next customers are going to pay 3% more and then 3% more, so that by the end of the year, my new customers are paying 12% more than my customers were a year ago. And it sort of makes sense. Where it makes sense is, especially in software, is that your product's getting better and your business is getting better at serving folks. So there's more value in the, I think, if you have an annual versus a monthly price, you get people to lock in, and they're like, if I lock in now, then I'm going to get a better price. But people, for better or worse, are getting used to, listen, my Google Workspace goes up every year, right? And it's funny, the business.
Well, we can't argue anything with Google Workspace, man. There's nothing you could do. Like, they know you need it, and there's nothing you can do.
They know you need it, right? It's like, I'm going to go to Zoho. Like, what am I going to do?
So to answer your question, right? Like, I think I've said this: first 100 customers, 1,000% getting a members, founders only locked in pricing for the current status of the app. Those stipulations will be anything. The way the app is laid out, you get this for $189 a month, guaranteed lifetime. When any additional changes happen, you need more, gigabytes for your video storage. All right, there's a pricing fee goes up. Hey, we have some type of macro counter in there. Okay, the price goes up. We've added this AI package into there. Oh, you want use of AI? Great, cool. This is where we're at with all this included. If you want to, we give them the option. But lo and behold, I think as a business owner, as a consumer, and somebody that's been on that side of the coin, both sides, I think it's going to be important to keep that price firm for those founding members, because that founding member is going to be like, hey, you got to talk to Jarod at Activtopia. They're doing this, X, Y, Z. Their app's awesome. Like, does everything you need. Why wouldn't you go to them? That's my opinion. I mean, I think once we get past that 100 threshold, then it's time, like, all right, let's kind of like cross our T's, dot our I's, and like look back at the pricing model. Like, what does it make sense to be at today? I could be even speculating and undershooting. Maybe I could do more than 100 members. I don't know.
Right. Got it. And you mentioned something that we didn't talk about at the beginning of this journey in terms of future feature sets and what the market is providing today, which is, how is AI integrated into gym apps?
I want AI integrated into this app indefinitely. And I'm not talking about like Chat GPT. I'm talking about having a real life AI. So like when you log in, it's like, hey, Johnny, like, today, whatever, and it knows like you, and it knows like your week up to date, like what you've been doing, and say, hey, you may want to take off. I don't know like what that looks like, but I want to have some type of version of AI integrated into it. But that is very costly, as I know. Maybe I'm thinking about like the build I want is like $250,000 to $500,000 build out potentially. I don't know.
And I don't think it's that expensive. And I think what's most important before you start thinking about the cost of it is what's in the market today. Like if you go and look at gym web pages, gym apps, gym services,
sure,
who's already thinking about this and doing it? So what's in the marketplace today? Who's most likely to be doing it and hasn't launched it yet? Is it Push Press? Is it somebody else? Like who is going to be the competitor? And so that's one thing is who's doing it and what are they doing today?
Yeah, I want to get integrations with like wearable technology, like be able to have like your Apple Sync, your Aura Ring Sync, like things like that.
That's yes, but that's different than what might be like what you expressed to me as a natural language AI, right? So being very clear about the different feature sets that we want and how we unfold them and how we price them and what they cost. is super important. Right now, we're doing the right thing. We're getting in the market, right? And to me, what you're doing right now is equal parts Jarod learning about the pluses and minuses of technology and owning and developing technology and launching a business. Like, it's really important if you like are really in this, that it's not like the power washing business. You launch a power washing business and the model's probably not going to change, right? People are going to have their houses power washed, and you're going to have a price exchange with the subcontractor, and you're going to be good. This business is going to be dynamic. It's software, and software is changing rapidly right now, right? And so, and every software market is really dynamic. So there are going to be the folks who released an app in 2010 and it's never going to change. And they got early adopters and they're very entrenched and they're sticky and nobody's leaving them until their customers start saying, your gym doesn't have Activtopia. And Activtopia, have you seen all the stuff they have in there? Like, I'm switching gyms because they have Activtopia, because their app helps me be better at my workout. It helps me be a better person, helps me whatever, like in a way. So then the gyms are like, oh crap, I'm on the wrong app. Like, not just for my business, but for my customers. What does that look like? So the one thing is like, okay, I've got all the integrations. That's probably valuable. And again, who's doing it? How are they doing it? What does valuable AI integration look like? I've got some ideas, and some of them would be natural language and like looking, we have a class schedule, we have a nutrition schedule, we have in-person and online classes, we have the person's history, and maybe we have their weight history or their show up at class history, right? So there are things you can do with that. Some of them are deterministic AI, some of them are predictive or generative AI. But we start with what is in the marketplace already or going to be in the marketplace. What do the customers actually want or think they want? And so that might be just listening to them and saying, hey, I'm looking for people who have used AI in their lives. Okay, I'm doing a focus group. Okay, how would you imagine AI being helpful? So that's one way to do it. But the other way to do it is to say, hey, I'm imagining this. Would that be useful? Like, how would you see yourself interfacing and using that? So this whole world of software feature discovery and selection is a very rich world. Like, there's a ton of work there. No app needs to cost you $250,000 anymore. I hope you're starting to learn that. Like imagine the tool set you're using in the hands of an expert software developer, right? If you can really clearly explain what you want, they should be able to create it a lot faster and cheaper than they could 2 years ago. And they can. And where the AI features are actually have a cost is on usage.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I think you can use this to your advantage as well. And it's not as expensive as you might imagine. Like, I've been digging into this. You get charged per token based on what model is there, right? So if we set it up where we had an instance of a large language model that was grounded in the information that's in the Activtopia app for all of our users and for specific users, we can track, like, let's say something crazy, like we wanted them to be able to upload a video and have it analyzed for how good they're doing their push-ups or their curls or their whatever, right? Like, maybe that's a thing, right? I know that that should be a thing. I've been talking about this to my sensei for decades. I'm like, what we really need to be able to do, and now we can actually sort of do it. You could charge them based on what it costs from a computing standpoint. You could charge them 5x what it costs on the computing standpoint, so that analyzing that video might cost you 30 cents and you can charge them $1.50 for it or whatever. And they get, and you can arcadeify it by saying, oh, your Activtopia account comes with 300 AI tokens a month or whatever. And then they burn through them at some rate. I'm making up numbers and ratios.
No, I'm following you.
But I'm looking at other business models, and this is what's emerging.
So dumb question here. like for the learning, you know, the LMM, right? We're talking about.
Yep.
So, like, is that something that can be hosted like on Firebase or no?
Yeah, it's all they call it Vertex AI. And if you wanted to like get a sense of it, go to Google, go to AI Studio. Uh, what is it? I think it's
Another
AI.
reason why I asked you, another reason why I asked you, so like right now, like for Firebase, you know, with what I have here that's hosted,
Yep.
I
Yep.
had to get onto like the pay as you go model, which is
Yep.
very minute, you know, because it's only like eating up kilobytes. So assuming that is kind of like a similar format, what you're
It's very
referencing.
similar format. It's the same, right? Same company, same thing. If you go to
Yeah,
aistudio.google.com,
you're
it will
telling me,
feel
you're telling me to go to this. I got you.
I'm telling you, it'll be a rabbit hole for you. But
AI dot
no,
studio.
AI Studio, no dot, aistudio.google.com.
I got you.
And
Google AI.
um
Oh, what is this?
it's a rabbit hole that I'll let you play with later. Um
Yeah, I'm not doing
but
it right now.
you can like hook up a camera and see what it would do if you like did some curls in front of it and say, hey, is there any way that we could judge my form on this or whatever? And you could write apps that do that. Like this is an app development thing that like squares with Firebase very neatly. And you get billed on token use, just like you get billed on compute use on Firebase, and it's very reasonable costs. And then you could put a customer facing pricing structure on the front end that made it profitable. Um, yeah, I've
Cool.
only dug a little bit into this. You could get totally lost in this. If I had like the right project for AI Studio, uh, and it helps, it will write code that you then can go and deploy in Firebase and make calls to the LLMs right there. It's pretty neat. But I think this is
So there's
version.
no need for like external servers because it's all housed here in Google. Huh.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not doing it right now. I just want to go down
Be
because
careful, right? Have a good night's sleep and time box it.
so yeah.
Yeah,
So listen. Let's. I know we're talking a lot, and I'm enjoying the session today. But let me kind of like walk you through just to show you like what I'm
yeah,
talking
yes.
about here.
All right, yeah,
Let's get here like on a session. Can you see the Activtopia?
yeah. Let me shrink you a
Okay,
little bit.
so if you're looking at the screen, what I was kind of referring to, like here is the button. Oh, I'm gonna have to click that. You're not gonna see that, but I'll show you. So the user, in this case, you, Johnny, if you were going through this and you were logged in as, you know, an admin for your this profile, you would click this.
Yeah,
There's these four boxes here. These were like data inputs that I had to put here as references, which you won't see because you're not a major admin. And then the Stripe failure and Stripe success pages.
yeah.
But let me click this, and then I have to stop sharing because you can't. Can you see the next page or no?
No, you should. You might want to share desktop instead of share page. Like you might want to stop sharing and reshare.
You don't see
Um,
the you don't see the Stripe.
oh, now I see the partner with Stripe for secure payments page. Yeah. Yep.
So this is what we were trying to do the last time and having a problem.
Yep.
So now I've been like making up all these like fictitious names.
Yep.
So in hindsight, these are all test accounts, but this was what, you know, it would look the real deal of like, you know, you or me doing, let's say,
Yeah.
John Weiss. John, let's see, just making shit up as I go. Mm. 444. Anything come up here? 44. Sure, Monroe. Mhm. This is the problem we were having last time when you and I were trying to do this. But we've gone around there.
That's great.
Yeah. And this is like one of the problems that we were having. Oh, look, it automatically selected this. So one of the things I can do, which I might leave in order to like show sustainability, as you'll see here, it could say like, hey, JKRLC, Activtopia partners with Stripe. And you'll see in the next screen. See, it says show your commitment for like Stripe climate. I have it set up where, so they could choose to do it or no thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
As for taxes, I don't think they're paying taxes. This is all their data.
So that is set up.
Okay. Now, do you see this screen?
Yeah, I see a big smiley face.
Okay, cool. So then that's okay. Okay. I don't know if that data came through. This was the test. Oh, didn't come through. Still not coming through.
A lot farther than we did last time.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was a lot further. I don't know if you're seeing my collection screen.
Right now, I'm still seeing a smiley face and a received Stripe account ID. There, I'm seeing you.
Now you're seeing me. Yeah. I was just checking the collections to see if it pulled through, and it didn't. And now I'm gonna have to go to the Google console to see that it's all working perfectly fine. To see what kind of just is the holdup, that why the data is not, going from Stripe to actual.
Yeah, but man, I hope that you have a sense of accomplishment, even though it's something that feels like it should have been easy. Like plenty of people would have given up and been like, oh, I got to do something else, or I'm going to have to pay somebody, or I can't pay anybody. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to just go back to focusing on selling marketing because that's easier because I know how to do that or whatever. So continue the progress. I'm sure you'll debug this one. I have said in talking to others, your tenacity is definitely something that is impressive and is needed in this.
Appreciate
so yeah, I mean, it's going to overcome a lot of stuff, right? There's a lot, there's a lot you didn't know, and there's still a lot you to learn, but continuing to try different things, like you're not beating your head against the same wall. You're not in a state of denial. Like I haven't heard like, no, whatever. There's not, I see progress and the pace. I'm not one to judge the pace of progress when, somebody's working on it and working hard. It's like, okay, are they working smart? Are they maximizing the resources they have? As far as I know, you are. So that's good. And I see, as I hope I've explained, a bunch of tangential value in the journey. Right. In terms of stuff that's going to be valuable for you as you move forward.
Yeah, like I said, I do. Yeah, I agree. Again, yesterday was a huge win. I mean, again, this is still processing and it's still working, but right now, in the moment, the data is not syncing with Adalo and Stripe since we disconnected the Zapier in the code. So I got to see what's going on.
Yeah. So you'll figure that out. You said you were writing summaries. I would say any little bit of taking those summaries and turning them into documentation about the product, right? And to the extent that our AI friend can read all the code and the Adalo structure, having it help you. I showed you last time, like how to use the Gemini Live to look at your screen, and the AI Studio will do that as well. Having it help write and document, sort of the business features and functionality would be valuable. I'm going to continue to say it's going to be useful. And based on where I see you right now, the interesting thing is it's going to be useful in 3 months when you stop having to touch the code every day, when you stop having to live and breathe it, and you fill your brain with all of the other business work that you have to do. And then you're going to be like, oh man, I need to like reformulate this, or I'm going to add this new feature or whatever. Having references to go back to remind you how things are designed and how they work, or being able to hand them to somebody else and say, hey, go add this. It's going to be super.
The one thing I will say is like 3 months from now, if I'm still coding, then I'll be crying. But I don't think I will be. I mean, I think, again, on a timeline basis, I don't know what it's going to take. I think I'll be able to solve this one thing tonight by the time I close my laptop. The only thing I could see having to do to complete like more coding would be like, hey, I know you said something that like additionally I was going to need as an add-on. I wouldn't even call this like an ancillary service, but like there's one like product that's on the market that I had mentioned. Geez, what was the name of it? No, I can't think about it. It's Johnny. Now I have a really, really, really big mental head case that I cannot remember the name of this. Anyway,
That's
so there's
right.
this product. Yeah, there's this product that called whatever fitnesswebsite.com. I have it in my notes somewhere. I just don't have it in front of me. But I told you that I think apps like Wodify, apps like PushPress, sync up with their back end for programming. I think we spoke about this over a month ago because one gym has said, "Hey, yeah, this app allows me to do this." SugarWOD, it was called, and they sync up with this company's back end. And it's not an open AI because that doesn't exist, because obviously an open AI would be like bad for security privileges. So they somehow gave them access to filter in their workouts into their app, like because this company basically creates the workouts for gyms, so gym owners don't have to create the workouts. They pay a monthly fee, they get the workouts, and that can extrapolate into the app. So I was trying at that time. I stopped. I was like, hey, I need to get in touch with somebody. Like, hey, how can I get my app to be a part of this marketplace? And that's what I was trying to. Like, I haven't heard back from anybody. I reached out. I might reach out again and see, like, hey, who can I talk to potentially start a relationship here?
And SugarWOD is the program?
Oh no, SugarWOD is not the program. SugarWOD is another app that isn't even a member management software. It does. It shows you like today's WODs and stuff like that. CompTrain. CompTrain was it? COMP Train. CompTrain. It was this guy from CrossFit. This guy Ben Bergon, whatever his name is. He is a box owner out in Massachusetts. He's like one of the worldly renowned CrossFit trainers in the country. He's gotten all these guys and girls to the games, CrossFit games. So he started this product. But they also have an app too. But mainly the box owners, which are gym owners in CrossFit terms, they utilize again this software for training programs.
Got it. So SugarWOD looks like they create like WOD syndications and WOD programs for gyms and stuff.
Exactly, but they don't take payments. That's why gyms that use SugarWOD have to use two separate apps, like PushPress. Got it. Which makes no sense to me. But anyway, they have so that's another like I can like hammer it. It's just another competitor in the market.
Yeah. So you said you don't see yourself having a code in 3 months, meaning the product is done. I was have other people writing code.
I was exaggeratingly, joking, but like I meant this code that I've done will have finally completed. The way that the app is today, I wouldn't need to do any additional coding.
Right.
Once that's set in stone. I mean, if I have add-ons, then I would have to like do some coding. Like in this case, trying to get in touch with this company to integrate that into this, I would have to do some type of coding.
Yeah. Got it.
And that's what I meant. The goal for me is to really just to get this app to this place, like as is, and like add any additional add-ons I can do as is. I mean, if I have to do coding, I'll do coding. But to build any components, we're not going to do that because we went down that rabbit hole and I saw where it led us. So I'm just at that. I'll keep it as is, like I said, with what I have, and then just try and get the market going.
Yep.
That's what I meant by that.
Okay. No, that's cool. I mean,
why? What do you say to that?
I will say an analogy that may be a little, maybe right, maybe wrong, is like, boy, there's a few that come to mind, but that's like, hey, I got my kid to school age. I'm done. Right now, I can just do some work again, right? Because the kid's going to be in school from 8 to 3.
Yeah.
So I'm like, software always needs nurturing. Like, so it doesn't mean you have to be doing it. And like, what I would say is, let's call this version 1. And yes, we want version 1 to be done. There's going to be bug fixes. There's going to be like, all right, what's between version 1 and version 2? And version 2 might also be on a Adalo, or version 2 might be, hey, wow, I got to 100 customers. I'm bringing in a lot of money every month. I'm going to pay a developer to work with me to create version 2, and it's going to be a full-blown app on Firebase with an SDK, or I'm going to build it with
React,
with totally in React, whatever, and I'm going to understand what he's talking about because I've been through some pain, right? So, but
I mean, jokingly, I said it, I guess.
Yeah, is what's between version 1 and version 2, right? There's always a little bit. There's either I have to fix something, or you know what, I'm not ready for version 2, but I want to add that feature, like you're saying, right? I want to add the ability to stream in this other thing, or the calendar could be a little bit better, or this thing is bugging my customers, or it's become a wall to the next 20 customers. So that will be there, right? I mean, just like we always tweak a business, the software is the business. Like, you have to be intentional about it. And I was just talking about issues logs and all that stuff. Like, to me, it's not every customer complaint sends you back to the keyboard to code a new solution. It's like, okay, what can we do for you today? We have that in mind. We'll definitely think about that for the next version. And we keep a log. And then at some point, we're like, wow, look at this log. There's like 12 people that have said this feature is a pain in the butt. And I have 12 other customers who are saying, well, I've heard that your feature doesn't do XYZ, so I'm going to hold off. And then you're like, wow, that's 12 customers that I'd make happier and 12 customers that would buy. It's time to make a version 1.1 that has this feature. Right. And then again, it's like, is that Jarod, or is that, is that somebody in Sri Lanka? Right. Is that a Fiverr? Right. Is that an Adalo expert that is building a component on your behalf or something like that? Like, I don't know, but it's always the software and the customers are always going to beg for more. They're going to want more out of it. And like you said, the first 100 customers, $189 a month for this service. We're excited that there's going to be 3 or 4 or 5 more major features that it's like, you're not getting that for $189. Like, that's a whole new thing. Like, that's the AI thing, or that's the workout feed. That's something different, right? And then it's like, do you just jump to the $229 plan, or are you paying an incremental fee? Like, I don't know. I'm inclined to be like, that's version 2. If you want version 2, you got to get on the $289 plan. So I think that's, the good news is that you've convinced me that we need to start thinking about things like that, as opposed to, are we ever going to get in the market?
That's a win.
All right, man.
I guess you weren't sure what was going to go on when you jumped on the call today.
You never know. I hope that it's productive, if only as a sounding board. I am excited about your progress.
Thank you,
I
man.
look forward to getting the
Appreciate it.
first user on there. I'm gonna always be the guy who say, "Get ready for the bumps; they're gonna be there." But
Yeah.
you continue to surmount them, so that's great, man.
I need somebody to, that's like you helping me. Like, hey, I already know not everything is sunshine and rainbows, so that's for damn sure. Are we going to be on for? I just know there's no additional cal invites, right?
Oh, I think there are. Let me look, because I did a search on my calendar.
Did you put them on for what? All are they all Wednesday now?
Let me see what I did. I moved
you
them
put
to
them on all-
Wednesday. Does that work for you?
Yeah, sure. I'll just say that Thursday the 13th, I will not be available because I will be away.
No, what? Let me Wednesday.
Wednesday the 13th, that week I am
Wednesday.
out.
Got it. All right,
Yep.
so we'll take that one off. And what I would also say is, could we do it any earlier in the afternoon?
What time?
Anytime as early as 2 would be good by me.
Yeah, we can make
I
that
have
work.
one. Pardon?
We can make that work.
All right. So the 13th. So let me go back. Next
13th.
week is the 30th. Can we
Yep.
move that to 2?
Sure.
All right. So if we move them to 2, I'm not going to send that. And then we delete the 13th.
Yes.
But they're going to be at 2 starting next week. That just gives me a bigger chunk of time, because I have a client that ends at 12:30, and then if I have you at 2, that gives me a chunk of time between you two, and then a bigger chunk afterward for me to try to get something else done. So that's awesome. That'll work super well. Good luck with tonight with getting the last hurdle on Stripe there, and maybe some more reporting stuff done.
I'll shoot you an email with an update, man.
All right, man. Sounds good.
All right, have a great night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.